everybody, and welcome to Chef Shelley's Kitchen. So I've shown you a number of different dishes, primarily dinner or lunch, barbecue kinds of things. I thought I would switch it up a little bit today and show you how to make whole wheat blueberry pancakes. So my husband and I were on this exercise kick at one point in time, and we still exercise on a regular basis. But we thought we would try some recipes that was put out actually by a fairly well-known fitness coach. And we tried these whole wheat blueberry pancakes, and I'll have to tell you, they were horrible. So I just started thinking, this is a really good thing to eat whole wheat blueberry pancakes, but I've got to find a better way to cook these. And so I searched and just came up with a hodgepodge recipe of my own after looking at probably, 20 or so different recipes online. So these are totally delicious. What I can tell you also is that in many cases, I just eat them with a little bit of butter on top. My husband adds a little syrup, but I don't even add syrup. It's all in the blueberries. So this very simple recipe, let me tell you what we're going to be using so you can write it down. We're going to start out, and by the way, I have the skillet already kind of heating up on medium, okay? So you want to have that going so that's ready for you. I'm actually going to put a little bit of cooking spray on the skillet, and then I'm also going to know when it's ready, nice and hot. And so I'm going to start out with 1 1/4 cup of whole wheat flour. Put that in my bowl. Then you're going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Now, one of the things you may have already realized is that is more than 1 1/4 cup of flour. Well, I duplicate my pancake recipe so that when I'm done, I can have what I'm going to eat for today. And then I can freeze the rest of the pancakes. So I cook all the pancakes, then I freeze them. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Getting back to the recipe, you're going to add 2 egg whites. Normal recipes call for eggs. I go with the egg whites. So you're going to put in your 2 egg whites. You're going to also add a cup of milk. Now, one of the things here is, again, where I make it healthy, I either use non-fat milk or 1%. This happens to be 1%. A half a teaspoon of salt, just sprinkle that in there. And then a lot of recipes call for confectionery sugar. I use brown sugar. So 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. You're gonna just mix that in there. And then and this is really kind of based on your taste, you can use about a half a cup of blueberries. Mine is going to come out to a little bit more than a cup because, as I mentioned before, I actually don't really like using syrup because if you have really sweet blueberries, it adds its own sweetness to it. So you're just going to put that there. Let's just kind of get some of these things out of the way. And then you're just going to mix it up really well. And you'll see kind of the batter here. And again, I mentioned that I usually double my recipe as I've done here. The measurements I give you is if you are just serving it for, let's say you want to get 6 pancakes out of it, I usually do it more because I freeze it. And so I normally will take 2 pancakes after they're done, put it in a plastic bag and just a regular sandwich bag. And then once I get all of the pancakes cooked and in those 2 bags, then I put the individual bags into one large gallon-sized freezer bag. So that's how you don't have to use as many freezer bags, and yet you can still. So again, nice little mix here. You can see I've got actually lots of blueberries going on. And now I can also tell that my heat is in a really good place. So what I'm going to do actually is pour some of the batter into my cup because then it makes it much easier to spread on the skillet. And I'm just going to do probably like 2 at a time so that you can get a feel for it. Sometimes it's kind of hard to gauge when are pancakes ready. The best gauge is, I'm going to say, allow about a minute or a minute and a half, but you'll start seeing it bubble in the middle. And so you just kind of want to give it that time. I found this skillet, for those of you that have electric stoves and they have the round eyes, the square skillets just don't work for me. I've tried them, they don't work. The best thing is to invest in a really nice round skillet that fits your stove. It'll distribute the heat really nicely. So don't be too anxious about turning them. Give it the time. Allow it, as I said, to bubble about a minute and a half. And then we're going to turn them, and basically they'll be golden brown. So as I mentioned, you can easily freeze what you don't use. And what's nice about that is, we'll find next Saturday or the following Saturday, we want to get up and we want to have pancakes. I'm not over here making pancakes again. I've got them already prepared. So when you freeze them, typically I'll put it on a plate in the microwave and keep it on or cook it for about 2 to 2.5 minutes. My gauges, I'll start to see the blueberries bubble up at the top of the pancake. And so that's when I know that it's pretty much ready. So again, 2.5, I would say 2 to 2.5 minutes. So this is actually looking really good. I'm just gonna take a look at it. And sure enough, this pancake is looking delicious, as you can see right there. Just gonna move this over just a little bit. That's the trick with pancakes, is you want them to stay on the pan and not stick to one another. But as you can see, these are golden brown, just absolutely beautiful pancakes. Again, just give yourself that patience of letting them cook, letting them brown. But if you need a timer, again, about 1 to 1.5 minutes. And just press it down if you want. Again, these are absolutely delicious looking pancakes. My husband loves them. He normally does his little happy dance when he gets his pancakes. But you can just do another turn if you want. See how nicely they brown, and voila, you now have beautiful blueberry whole wheat pancakes for breakfast. FYI, this runs about 160 calories for the 2 pancakes total. So thank you again. Come back if this was inspirational for you. Share it on your page, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.